We see an expert to check up on our health. We see an expert to check up on our car. Why don't we do the same with our finances? Jump online and book a free personal financial health check with Jeff Bowman from Wealth by Design. Knowledge is power. Follow the link on edgeradioaustralia.com. Design a future for you and your children. Wealth by Design.
Welcome to Wealth by Design here on Edge Radio Australia. An absolute pleasure to have such wonderful people with me, and I'm going to actually leave the room in just a tick. I'm going to let you guys have a bit of a chat on your own, just to do a little IT in the background.
No worries, Aaron. We've got this show under control.
Under control, absolutely.
Sonja and I have got it sorted.
I can tell you, I'm completely superfluous here. No one needs me. No, I mean, I just press buttons. I do nothing else. Now, I was going to introduce Sonja, but I'll let you do the job. Of course, this is Jeff Bowman, Wealth by Design, an absolutely fantastic fella who, look, he will help you build wealth, but then also you'll help us hold on to it, mate. And that's a big, big difference to putting a package together. So, mate, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you very much indeed. And welcome, Sonja. Welcome, Sonja. Great to see you. We're very pleased and highly excited to have Sonja Pototzki-Raymond with us today.
Thank you.
And I only just found out that Pototzki is actually not Polish, it's German.
Well, no, the surname is Polish,
right.
But my dad is German. So my dad had the Polish surname. So yeah.
You see. I just thought the Polish might have got the sides right there, but they didn't. They're in there. Yeah, so it's all about Sonja and her brand new book today, but I thought I'd give you a bit of background, Sonja.
Yeah.
Not that I want to steal her thunder, but I was just reading through a little bit of background here, and Sonja's got a fairly established pedigree for being such a young-looking young lady. I mean, have you seen this last 20 years what she's been up to?
I'll just say, steady on, mate. Careful.
Oh, that's
careful.
It's outrageous.
It is outrageous. So, just a bit of an overachiever. Put it that way.
So Sonja's
or a certified balloon tick, whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Sonja's also known as the Search Queen. So she's got to have this very established marketing company for a long time, but worked in advertising and marketing for some names that I know you and I are quite familiar with.
Okay, name them. Come on.
Right.
Come on, drop them.
We can start with Guinness.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Jameson.
These are companies, now the accent's really coming.
This goes with the Irish.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Nestle, we'd like a bit of chocolate.
Yeah, look, you can see that.
Yeah, no, and this to knock off a bit of special K in my old days.
Okay.
And, of course, I haven't been a big man on cosmetics, but Benefit Cosmetics is apparently a big brand that you've been associated with, Sonja. So look, I think we're going to really focus on this fantastic new book that
you've got it there. Look at that. You hold it up there. Let everybody have a look.
The Search for Resilience. Unleash your warrior spirit.
I like
that. So we're so looking forward to hearing all about your background.
Thank you.
Your business, and probably with a big focus on this big seller, already a top seller on Amazon.
Already a top seller.
Already.
Okay, so while we're here.
In 7 categories.
We're only here because I invited Sonja. I thought, come on, you got to make us look good.
Oh, mate, I was about to say, that's the thing. We're not here to promote a book. We're here to really pump our tyres up, let's be honest.
I know. So, Sonja, thank you once again so much for coming along. And look, we'll just hand the fall over to you because Aaron's got a habit of hogging the microphone, as you know. And as you might know, you might have seen a few of these shows. So welcome. And just start off with maybe embellishing a bit of your background and why we're here and a bit about why you got into the book, and we'll take it as it flows.
Sounds good.
Well, to take it way back, I studied marketing for my degree and my master's.
Okay.
And I started in agency land straight after uni. And I absolutely loved what I did, marketing wise, worked for some of the world's leading brands. And then I moved to Australia 12 years ago.
Okay.
And
welcome.
I always knew I was going to come here. It was just more of a matter of the right timing.
Right.
And something in me when I was younger always said, like, Australia is calling for sunnier things for me. That's where the promised land is. And I packed my bags and I left Ireland and arrived in Australia with a suitcase and a head full of dreams. And now fast forward 12 years later, I met my now husband, who I've actually known my whole life, really. Well, since I was 12 or 14 years old. Yeah. So I've known him since my childhood.
Yeah.
So we met over here. And my sister was over here, and she was due my niece, Millie May. So I arrived 10 days before she was born. And then I found myself looking for the right agency to sponsor me, because I knew I was never coming back to Ireland.
Okay.
And I really wanted somebody to sponsor me to make sure I could stay here long term, because from the minute I set foot in Perth, I was like, oh my goodness, people actually live like this. This is amazing.
It's lovely to hear.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think that people realize just how amazing Perth is. If you've lived here your entire life, and then you actually leave the country and actually see, you very much a beautiful lifestyle and a way of living. So I just manifested this incredible life for myself, and I marched the streets of Perth asking every person to give me a job, and I promise I won't let you down. And I started with an agency back in 2014 or January 2014. And then within 3 months they said they were going to sponsor me.
Right.
Yeah. And then I just went from strength to strength there. It was a digital marketing agency specializing in Google and social media and everything. So for me, I landed in a really good job, and it was more of, I need to really make something of myself. And with that came my passion with Google. So I was handling loads of clients to manage for Google Ads and SEO and websites and social media. And where I came from, I was like very, very familiar with traditional marketing, but I hadn't really specialized too much in digital as such. So I rolled my sleeves up and educated myself on all things digital. So I'm very much self-taught on SEO and Google Ads.
When you said you love Google, I mean, that's not something I hear often.
Yeah, well, I'll explain why. Because traditional marketing, you can't really track the data. Whereas with Google, you can track when people inquire, who phones you, where they've come from. All the data you can find with Google is mind-blowing. And for me, where I come from in Ireland, is that we work very hard. Like, we're obviously known in Australia for our work ethic. Everyone loves the Irish. And for me, it was like, the transparency to not only say something is amazing, but have the data to back it up was a game changer.
I can see
so I was handed loads of clients, and some of the clients that were handed to me weren't necessarily very happy. So it was my job to turn the accounts around.
Gotcha.
So that then I could actually drive the campaign forward and ensure that we kept the clients as long-term clients. So driving retention.
Sure.
And then I ended up kind of creating a business within a business, I suppose, because I kind of put myself in the shoes of the clients and thought like that their marketing budgets was like using my own money. So I developed my own formula, and that very much came down to the relationships I built with the clients. So to make a long story short, I ended up managing over 150 clients at once on my own with no support.
Really?
Yeah. And then I couldn't really say anything either. And I didn't really agree with how the agency was running. So I kind of had to keep my mouth shut in order to keep the visa. So I was just the star of the agency at the time. And then what I did then from there was that once my PR came through, the very next day I actually resigned. So I got my permanent residency. I was headhunted by another agency, and off I went. And then I found myself in a similar situation where I was expected to fit a certain mold, and agency land can be very, very draining and very toxic at times, but it also has that slave dog mentality, like you work around the clock.
Very interesting you say that, because it's actually, I've had many friends who've worked in agencies, and the comparison between working in actually the radio industry and that industry is extremely similar. They've got the same sort of attributes, I guess, and the same sort of toxicity as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person, I have no interest in gossip or standing on other people to get ahead, and I just found it just wasn't my vibe in terms of the culture of those working environments. And then I decided to leave that agency. I was headhunted to be the head of account management at another agency.
Right.
Found myself in a similar situation. And it turned out that the agency that I was working for, he didn't really care about the clients. He just cared about his bottom line more.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of the clients that he was selling outlandish SEO and Google Ads to, these clients were actually penalized on Google. And this guy just didn't know what he was doing.
Gotcha.
So he outsourced everything to offshore companies. So I said, I just can't stand for this. This goes completely against my morals. So then I decided, well, there's no point in me going to work for another agency because I'm going to end up in the same situation. So if these people can get ahead by doing the wrong thing, surely there has to be a place for doing the right thing.
You'd think so.
So that was the call of the universe. Yeah. And then I had like 10 clients in the space of 1 week in August 2018 to say, can you just do your own thing, please? There's nobody out there like you, and nobody cares as much about us as you do. And I was like, sure. So I replaced my income and off I went, and it just went gangbusters.
I love this.
But the first year I was very much under the radar though. Very much. I didn't put myself out there. I didn't have a website. I was fear being judged. I had lots of mindset blocks, a lot of limiting beliefs that I had to overcome, a lot of trauma that I had to deal with from my childhood that came up actually as a result of not being able to grow my business. Or, I found it very hard to put myself out there. And then COVID hit. And then I realized there's a lot of businesses that were like going under. And then I said to myself, well, come hell or high water, there's absolutely not a chance I will ever go back working for somebody else again. And I said, I don't really care whether clients want to partner with me, but I am going to start educating people about what they need to look out for when it comes to Google. And that was how Sonja the Search Queen, my personal brand, was formed and started. And that is 5 years ago now.
Okay.
And now from there, I've built so much trust in the industry. I have clients all over Australia and New Zealand. I get invited to speak. But yeah, I could go on for, I'm like, is that giving you enough? Because I don't want to have the entire conversation.
No.
And I done this and I done that.
It's easy for us.
It is. We're heading back. But honestly, I'm so damn impressed. I really am.
Thank you.
Really good effort.
And the things you brought up too about the fact of, it sounds crazy. Well, to me, that you said about bringing up things from your childhood because you're going out on your own. I hear this from so many business owners, right? We're so indoctrinated. We're sort of, I don't know, we're trained to be.
Conditioned.
We are.
From school.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all conditioned to stay in line and don't stand out and be uniform,
And some of us just don't fit.
We're not, none of us are ever meant to fit. That's the thing.
How
That's
good
the
is
point.
that? Yes, I agree completely. And the other thing that stood out to me is, again, I've said this many times and I'll keep saying it, is when we deal with wealth by design, I know that everybody you go to, anybody that you recommend, has a certain level of ethics and integrity, right? That sets them above. And it saves me the time of having to go through your back catalogue, right? Yeah. So the fact that you brought Sonja on and just hearing the words that you've actually just said, you just reaffirmed that for me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I do try to act from a place of values, and my values, I define them very early on in my business journey. And that was trust, respect, loyalty, and integrity. And from every decision I make, from any person I employ, from the clients I decide to work with, they have to kind of mirror those values, because I didn't get into business to not enjoy what I do, or not enjoy who I'm doing work for. Because I might as well have had a job if that's the case, So I just think that is something that is very much, a lot of business owners forget how important it is to define your values and live in accordance with your values, because that's what brings happiness and fulfillment,
It really does.
Yeah, totally right. I mean, there's a great, it's actually enshrined in law in the financial planning industry, which is my background, is you always must act in the client's best interests.
Yeah.
Right? And so Sonja's basically saying that. Sonja's going, well, look, you're paying us a fee, but we're going to do the right thing by you because you're retaining me as your advisor. I'm not here just to flog Google AdWords and take a commission off the top, because there's a big difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and I even when I set up Wealth by Design, I was just staggered about the non-disclosure and the exorbitant fees and the lack of justification for the fees. That'll be about 10 grand a month, and you've got an advertising budget on top of that. Yeah. We're going, oh, really? What do we get for 10 grand? Oh, well, we get a bit of this and a bit of that. And it was like, from a full disclosure industry that I'd come from. Yeah. Okay. How can a bloody bunch of characters behave like this?
It blows your
10
mind.
grand a month, and what are you going to get for it? Well, you get us, yes, but what are you doing?
You get hopes and dreams, mate.
Hopes and dreams. I mean, I was really shocked by the lack of substance around the fee. Like, what do you get for it?
Most people do, though, like especially clients that have engaged in other agencies or have had on other marketers.
Yep.
They kind of think it's like this, like smoke and mirrors. And to be honest, and I'm not going to throw my industry under the bus, there are a lot of cowboys out there that just want money.
Yeah.
But I turn around clients all the time because I'm just like, I just can't help you. Like your website's shocking, or you don't have your own business established enough, or you haven't identified the problem that you solve.
Okay.
You don't have the right budget to invest into the likes of Google. Google is something that comes after, once you've actually established the business and it's in a good position to then add an ads component on top of that.
And you could define obviously your market quite well. So is there a guideline in your head in relation to the size of a business before they can probably afford your services? They've got to be turning over
justify
$1 million bucks a year in turnover. Have you got is that how you would guide yourself?
Not really, no.
Size of a business?
To be honest, it comes down to the level of establishment, because we do have smaller clients, but then we have bigger clients that pay a lot of money, but it just comes back to what their goals are.
Yes.
And how much they're turning over per year. And that's where we work the budget out from. It's either 5 to 8% of what their annual turnover is. So somebody comes to me and they're generating 100 grand a year. I'm like, you can't afford me. Like I could do your Google ads too, but firstly, it's going to just be more time than what it's worth, because they're going to put all their eggs in my basket wanting it to work when there are no guarantees, there are no guarantees. But the only way Google works is it actually amplifies what's already working.
Okay.
And if you have a shoddy website that you've built yourself, or your neighbor has built, or your son has built, that hasn't a clue about web design or user journey experience, or identifying and mapping out the problem that you solve on your website, adding a ads component or an SEO piece to that is not going to give you the desired result.
Gotcha.
It's not waving a magic wand.
You're kind of leading people to a locked door.
Absolutely.
So if you're turning over $500,000 a year, expect to spend between $2 to $4 grand a month. Ish.
I think a bit more than that, to be honest.
Okay. 3 to 5.
Yeah, I would say anywhere in that range.
Yeah,
if you're taking ad
that's a
spend on
guide.
top of that.
That's a guideline, because those people won't waste their time or yours. If they knew that was a starting point.
Exactly.
We see. Well, I do. I look at Google and I look at all of that. It's such a black art, because they keep changing the rules.
Well, it's 5,000 rules a year that changes.
Yeah.
So when somebody tells me they do SEO in-house, I'm like, you really don't. You're just actually, you think you're doing it, but you're really actually only not even scratching the surface. You probably do more harm than what it's worth, But I think the important thing is, I'd like to lead this conversation as well as towards the taking into account that AI has a massive part to play in everything, and all these chatbots as well. And there is this notion that people think that Google is not going to survive this. And I completely disagree, not because I love Google so much, but the reality is, if we take it back a notch, these content large language models like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini and all the Claude, they all pull the content from Google.
Right.
So the goal is answer engine optimization. So it's a marriage between SEO as well as making sure you're also getting picked in the chat engines, as well as being found in Google. So Google gets you found.
Yep.
The answer engines get you picked.
Oof.
So it's about that marriage and that cohesiveness across where the world is going,
Oh yeah, and as I say, the tech's changing so much. I remember everyone would say hashtag everything, hashtag.
Yeah.
And then they say, no, that doesn't work anymore. And I just don't know.
That's socials. Yeah.
This is why expertise is so important.
It is.
You cannot be, all over every sort of version, every genre, if you like, of marketing. It's great to instill, your confidence and your money in experts, right?
Absolutely. And I do think when it comes to marketing, it comes back to the quality of your messaging as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, marketing is an art, and your messaging, a lot of people now are using chat to create their marketing, but they haven't primed the chatbot in order to give you on brand, on tone, quality content that is actually going to make a difference. Because you can put, if you find a bit of content, I think this is ChatGPT, pop it into ChatGPT, be like, chat, did you write this? And chat will say, yes, I did.
Right.
Like, this is like, you know, and I think people are becoming a bit more lazy, but a lot of people don't realize that it's so obvious when you use ChatGPT and you've done it the lazy way without actually losing your uniqueness is what sets you apart in marketing, you know?
I don't find, I mean, we do use AI here, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the old toothpaste is out of the tube. We have to embrace it. But it's like any tool, if you're not using it properly, there's no good, you know, trying to drill a hole in the wall and then smashing it with a hammer. Yeah. You know, it makes you don't achieve what you need to achieve. So learn the skills, learn what it's about, and get the best of each and every individual tool. Yeah.
Absolutely. And did you want to ask something?
It's got the book.
I've got this book. I want to get into this book.
Let's get into it.
Well, we do speak about Google in the book, so yeah, we're not wrong not talking about it.
If I can be so rude to interrupt.
No, please. Work away.
Yeah. So I'm just reading a bit of a forward here from Heidi Anderson, the PR coach and publicist at a radio broadcaster. Being a radio broadcaster, you probably know this girl. She says, Sonja's journey is equal parts inspiring and life-changing. This book will move you, motivate you, and show you how to build the kind of resilience we all need.
Well,
so there's a bit more than just the Google queen here.
Just a little bit more. And look, that's pretty strong praise coming from Heidi, who I don't know personally, but I know by reputation.
Yeah, great friend of mine.
She has an excellent reputation.
Right. So let's get into this.
Yes.
What's this about, Sonja?
So if I am to invite you to come back to me on my business journey started in 2018. So that's 7 years ago now.
Okay.
And hubby and I got married September 2018. Sorry, 22nd of September 2018.
Don't forget that.
7 years next month. And we, at the time, thought that our journey was to start having a family straight away.
Okay.
And not unfortunately, I suppose there's no mistakes now that we're on the other side of it. But we found ourselves 6 months into our marriage that the road to having our kids, we found out was going to be very complicated.
Okay.
And at that time, I was under the radar with my business. And it really served me because I really struggled with my mental health and accepting that it was taking so long, because I was conditioned to think that you look at somebody and you get pregnant, you know, and in Ireland, everybody asks you once you get married. So when you having kids,
of course they do.
Yeah. When you having kids,
not just Ireland.
Oh my goodness, you know, it's everywhere, you know, and I just think that society needs to stop asking those questions because you just never know what's happening behind closed doors. And it's not as easy as it is for a lot of people in this day and age. And I think that society really needs to change that. So for me, I found myself isolated, nobody to talk to, but also feeling like a failure or feeling like were we not compatible because we couldn't have kids and all of those things. So the dark night of the soul, I started to overcome at that point. And then what we went on it led both Kevin and I, but mostly first myself, down this path of massive self-development and discovery. And our first wedding anniversary, Kevin and I both went to Tony Robbins in Sydney for Unleash the Power Within. And we both walked across hot coals and didn't get burnt.
Wow. I've often sort of worried about that.
Yeah, not doing that. No.
Everyone thinks it's cult, but it just shows you what you're capable of and the power of the mind, you know?
Agreed.
And then from there, that was where I was like, okay, well, if the babies aren't coming, I'm going to make something of myself with this business and I'm going to take it serious, right?
Great.
So I wasn't just working in my pajamas. I wasn't going to the beach when I felt like it. It was like, no, head down, bum up. You treat it like a business. You treat it like a job and let's see what happens. And for me, my business was the greatest distraction for what was happening in our personal life because my heart was absolutely broken 10 times over. Yeah. It was horrendous because everyone around me was having kids. And the people that weren't even trying or didn't even want kids were getting pregnant, you know. And
I tripped and fell. I mean,
So it was just really difficult to accept because I'm the type of person, if I want something, I have to have it.
Gotcha.
And why can't I have it? And I couldn't make a baby happen. You know, I had to really surrender to that process. But through that path of self-discovery, there was a lot of trauma that kind of came up from my childhood, particularly around abandonment with my father. So my dad left when I was 7, and that left a massive father wound for me, massively around security in the world, feeling safe, then feeling the need to control everything. because that was my coping mechanism. So the business for me was that distraction. And I got very clear on why I do what I do. And that was to help businesses work smarter, not harder, so they can spend more time with the people they love the most, so they never have to worry about where their next sale or lead is coming from. And on the other side of that, the why for me was that I wanted to create a business that helped me work around my kids, because I saw my mom work so hard to put a roof over our heads, put everything that we needed. We never wanted for anything. She was an incredible force of nature, and she still is to this day. And she's the ultimate testament of resilience. You know, she really is. She's an incredible human. So at that time, I had to really pull back those layers of what was keeping me small and what was keeping me stuck. And I tried every modality under the sun of healing, personal development seminars. I don't know if you know MJB seminars. I've done MJB. They're based here in Perth. I've done kinesiology, neurofeedback, counseling, Reiki, energy work, breath work, acupuncture. I was like, this has to fucking happen. Like, sorry, I shouldn't have actually.
No, you can go for it. Absolutely. One thing you can definitely say, you were thorough.
I did everything under the sun trying to make this baby happen. But one thing I realized is that the unseen world is something that we do not know. I didn't have much of awareness around it.
Right.
And I think that really brought me back to myself in terms of self-discovery and really unleashing all parts of myself. And that's when I discovered plant medicine. Okay. So I done ceremonial settings with a shaman, with psilocybin. Okay. And it honestly just cracked my heart open so much that there was so much pain that I wasn't willing to accept. But through the process of psychedelics, it really opened up my heart to everything that I needed to see and all the good that I needed to see that was happening in my life, and also where I was playing small. So both Kevin and I thought that once we have a baby, we will be happy. But we needed to get to the point that we are already happy with or without a child.
Sure.
And to put that pressure on a spiritual soul to come earthside is a huge thing to do. You know, we had to get to that point that a baby was going to add to our life, not complete our life.
Yeah.
And then forever that soul would have felt indebted, you know, to us.
What a wonderful conversation. Honestly, I thought we were going to be talking about Google words. And no,
it's a mixture of everything in the book.
Yeah, look, life is so multi-layered, okay?
Absolutely.
And quite frankly, if you're not happy with yourself and you're not, I wish I could remember the term you've used so many times and it's just falling out of my head at the moment. But you know, when you're making yourself small, effectively, when you're closing yourself off to things, that stops you from achieving, right?
It really does.
And we want to achieve.
We're here to create. We're here to live a life of expansion. We're here to step into our full expression of what we're here to do. And I do feel that there's certain systems that keep us small and keep us from dreaming big. And it's a system feeding the system, as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to have full disclaimer and full disclosure that I don't recommend anybody do psychedelics on their own or recreationally. It would have to be with a trained shaman. And also, I think that you have to do a lot of work on yourself, because when you face that shadow of the soul, you will face it. And it's the most confronting thing that you will ever come up
shadow
and face.
Of the soul.
Oh, look at that. It's, you know what, you've just said such profound things. You've opened yourself up. No, you have. You really have.
Well, I've opened myself in that book.
Oh, I can't wait to read it now. I'm telling you right now.
We've got one each.
There's a reason why it's the #1 bestseller in 7 categories.
Look, it says on the front, awaken the warrior in business and life. Yeah. And I think maybe you need to just underline the word "and" on that one, because it's really, what you've said has just, it's really surprised me. We're not talking about a book about business here. We're talking about something that's
everything
far deeper than that.
But to be perfectly honest with you, Aaron, like, had I not gone on this really heartbreaking fertility journey, would it have still led me down to the path that I am now? I don't believe so. Like, I became addicted to finding out the reasons why we couldn't have kids.
Yep.
And through the process of pulling back all those layers, I was able to find that true reason. And it was a spiritual block that I needed to connect with, that spiritual side of myself that is, we're told to shut off from childhood.
And that was the reason.
That was the reason.
Wow.
Absolutely. It was about coming home to myself. Yeah.
This sort of flows on from what you're saying. Well, certainly does in my mind anyway. A couple of years ago, someone brought a wonderful term into my life that I'd never, ever experienced. I don't know why I'd never heard it before, but it was brought into my life. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Yes.
I wish I knew that 20 odd years ago, 30 years ago. It makes such a difference. And you've turned this, this road block, I guess, or speed hump, we'll call it, with fertility, and you've turned it into your power. It's a very, very positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
To be honest, I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever be able to speak about it openly.
Sure.
But I made a promise to myself in my darkest day in 2020 that if I am ever fortunate to become a mom, I'm going to speak about it openly, because at the time I felt so isolated and so alone, and I couldn't relate to anyone, but then there is that piece that so many people are actually going through it. They just don't talk about it. And to be perfectly honest, the fertility journey has been by far the greatest journey I've ever went on in my entire life, because the business exploded as well because of dealing with the trauma, dealing with the pain, getting the answer spiritually as to why we couldn't conceive our children. And then we went down a process of IVF. So our journey was 3 years, and all going through the fertility journey, my business was 8xing every year and compounding, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're a powerhouse. And nobody knew what was going on in my private life. And I was living almost like this double life. And
so say that again,
I was almost living this double life because nobody knew what was going on in the personal life.
Gotcha.
And then I started speaking about it. The week before I had my embryo transfer, which is our daughter Sage, I started speaking about it openly because 6 months before that, I actually had a miscarriage with our first embryo.
Sorry to hear that.
And that's okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And then straight away when I started speaking openly about it, I had this like gut intuition. You need to speak about this. You need to speak about this. This is part of it was like Sage was telling me, Mom, now you need to complete the last step, and that is to shed the light on this taboo subject. And I did that a week before I had my embryo transfer at Sage, and then Sage was a success, and she was born in July 2022.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Rock and roll.
You brought this to a beautiful, it's not an ending.
So we've got a 3-year-old.
I've got a 3-year-old, So Sage, she's honestly, every day is a party in Sage's world. Yeah. Every day we have to sing happy birthday because happy birthdays are her favorite thing in the world.
Is that right?
She's honestly, like, anyone that meets her, they're like, oh my goodness, she's so calm and so chill, and she's just loves dancing. She just loves life. Like, she's just a beautiful child. She melts your heart. And then we decided it would be lovely to have a little sister or brother for Sage.
Okay.
So then we went with our last embryo in December 23, and that worked with no complications whatsoever. So then Willow was born. So it'll be this Saturday. She's a year on Saturday.
So it's important to have at least 2. I'll tell you why.
Maybe 3. We'll see.
Well, you can race them. Right? That's bottom line for me. Well, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
What a beautiful coming together of the story here. And also what's wonderful is your business gave you something to hold on to, something to work through, something to be focused on that took you away from, quite frankly, probably the negative energy that was stopping everything
100%.
else. Right?
And whether it's healthy or not, it was the greatest distraction. And I think that one of the biggest lessons I got on our fertility journey was that I had to get to a place where I realize I am a mother in so many areas. And what does that archetype of mother actually mean? Okay. It's your creativity. It's also the great friend that you are, the caring person that you are to your team, to your husband, to your mother, to your sister. And when you get that nothing's missing, that's the lesson. So,
well, sorry to make this boring, right?
You're okay.
But I think this is a really fascinating conversation. I really do. And it's sort of very aligned with what we do here at Edge. So I very much appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure.
But when I say boring, business isn't boring. You love it. We all love it. Okay. And we're here talking about business. So with the particular events and you rediscovering yourself and going through and actually growing as a person, how has that given you what's the practical benefit that you put into your own business?
The practical benefit that I put into my own business with everything I've learned is that I am the most incredible judge of character.
Hey.
Oh, I take zero tolerance to drama.
Okay.
I attract clients out of abundance, not out of scarcity, because I know I'm worthy, And I think the biggest thing that came out of our fertility journey was definitely a self-worth issue for both Kevin and I individually. So when you own all parts of yourself and knowing you're worthy because you are, that's where the magic happens, because there's this shift in energy. And people what don't realize is that when we walk into a room, we can feel people's energy. We can feel people's presence. But people think our soul lives inside our body. No, our body lives inside our soul.
Ooh.
And we have a huge presence outside of our body, and people feel that. And when you come home to that and you actually have an unbelievable connection with your soul connection and what you're here to do, people just want to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yes, they do. They do.
Like, I'll have whatever she's having. Can we catch up? Can you be my friend? And I'm like, I'm not the answer. Go see all these people.
Well, that's why they want this book. So
they do.
It's on Amazon.
It is on Amazon, yes. And it's also in all the major bookstores across Australia and New Zealand.
And all the major bookstores.
Soon to be Ireland and the US as well.
There we go. The search for resilience. And that's probably we couldn't end up on a better start.
Thoroughly agree.
We've got the two babies.
Yep.
Willow,
Hope, and Sage Faith.
And Sage.
3 in 1.
3 in 1. And we're rocking and rolling with a global best-selling book, The Search for Resilience, guys.
Oh,
tune in on this.
Get yourself one of those.
Yes.
And if you want to get in touch, obviously you can get in touch through the website here, edgeradioaustralia.com. We'd be happy to hook people up. Your website as well, mate. What's that one?
Yeah, absolutely. wealthbydesign.com.au.
Yep.
Where all good things happen. And we'll certainly be promoting this magnificent publication.
We certainly will. That's a rip.
And so thank you so much for coming in.
Oh,
Sonia.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Really, really lovely. And we'll happily get you back.
Oh,
very appreciated. I tell you what, you're obviously, you're very eloquent on many different subjects, so we definitely want you back.
Oh, I love to speak. I'm also a keynote speaker, so
I
will speak
you're
on anything.
so shy. Look at that. We don't like shrinking violets around here. We like people who speak their mind and what's important about.
No room for the shrinking violets. They go past that door. Talk about the energy.
That's right. We've got an energy field that keeps it away. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate everything that's come together here. Thank you for the people working behind the scenes as well. You know who you are. Thank you for all your hard work. This has been Wealth by Design by Edge Radio Australia.
We see an expert to check up on our health. We see an expert to check up on our car. Why don't we do the same with our finances? Jump online and book a free personal financial health check with Jeff Bowman from Wealth by Design. Knowledge is power. Follow the link on edgeradioaustralia.com. Design a future for you and your children. Wealth by Design.